Tree Country 1330 WTRE 732. Good morning, Mayor Marsh.
Good morning, Emily, and happy Thursday, everyone out there in WTRE country.
It's a little chilly out today, didn't you think?
It's a little brisk, and there's a little bit of snow still coming, but I don't think anything major, and this weekend's just going to be pretty cold.
That's right. It's winter.
It'll be a good weekend to plan to watch the IU Hoosiers, and as a Purdue fan, you have to be an IU fan.
I told my neighbor she's been to the last two games, and she's not going to this one, but I said, even as a Boiler, I was like, we have to be excited for you guys. So
yes,
it's exciting news.
We're gonna do it.
We're gonna do it.
I'm not a big sports guy, but I love when Indiana teams. I'll be a bandwagoner, and everybody can be like, you're a bandwagoner. I'm like, that's fine. When Indiana teams are doing well, we've got to root for them. So let's go.
Go all the way.
That's right.
When an IU or an Indiana team has made it this far, you can't not be behind them. So
yeah, it's been good, and so we'll see. But yes, that's the plan for the weekend, right? Just wait on Monday.
Just wait on Monday.
Right.
Monday night.
Great.
Can you lots of kids with like school delayed on Tuesday. Do you have any authority over that?
Unfortunately, we do not. I would encourage you to contact the Greensburg Community School or Decatur County Community School Corp headquarters and express your opinion of that.
If that's desire for that.
I know our team had said something about getting a 2-hour delay from work, and I denied that. So
they're not kids, though.
That's right. Yeah, that just when you're an adult, you have to make adult decisions. If you want to stay up till midnight to watch the football game, which I'm sure everyone will, then we'll see you at work at 7 or 8 a.m. on Monday.
That's right. You'll just be tired.
That's right.
No big.
Well, on Tuesday. So Monday is a holiday too, by the way.
Oh,
so
that's right.
You can plan. It's, MLK Junior Day. So Monday offices are closed. So you can be rested up on Monday to get ready for Tuesday.
Great plan.
That's right.
Well thought out. Yes.
Just the way that the college football schedule fell, I guess. But that's okay, and good luck to them, and hopefully everybody will be cheering for them.
That's right. Have you had a busy week?
It has been. It's been a little bit nuts, but that's okay. We're making it through. We've got 2 more very busy days. Today being the Decatur County Comprehensive Plan public open houses. There is one at noon, and then one at 6 o'clock this evening over in the EMA building. So over at the Decatur County Annex is where they're hosting that. If you'd like to participate in that, you're more than welcome to join them over there. So that's not an us thing, but it's still important to be involved in the comprehensive plan. It does have an impact. It is a used document. It is something that people reference when communities are looking to grow and do things, and it's a good opportunity. It comes around. It's not really on a fixed schedule. I think they did the last one in 2017 or 2018. We did our last one in 23. So we're in a little bit of an off cycle, but still a good opportunity if you'd like to participate in that. It's open to anyone and everyone who lives in Decatur County. I guess people that don't live in Decatur County could come too, but it's not, if you live in the city, you're still a member of Decatur County, so go and see what you think.
Very good. And that's this evening?
It is. Well, there's one at noon today and then one at 6 tonight. Same thing. You don't have to go to both. Just 2 different times available for folks that maybe have conflicting schedules.
Very good. You had Board of Works and City Council this week.
We did. Board of Works was a land speed record for the first time in my career, and as far back as probably anyone can remember. We actually didn't have anything that the board needed to decide on. So we cover everything from contracts to purchases to policies to personnel, and there was nothing on the agenda. The unfortunate part about that is, it's good, but the unfortunate part about it is we do have to pay our bills. So we approve the bills every month. The board members get a list of them from the clerk treasurers. Here's what's due. We do have a policy in place if something has a late fee that it can be paid to avoid the late fee. That's just, good fiscal stewardship. But, a lot of vast majority ones don't, and we have to approve the payroll, etc. So that was the one item on our agenda. And we were able to do the pledge, approve the minutes, and approve the claims, and adjourn the meeting in 1 minute and 7 seconds.
What a record.
It is a record. It was a little bit of a laugh in the room, but, hey, we've got to do that. We looked at doing it electronically, but actually State Board of Accounts at this point won't let us do it electronically. So we were trying to avoid it just because everybody's time's valuable, but we just couldn't. So that was a very quick meeting.
Quick and done. That's right. Then that was followed by City Council. So now, when you have those back to back, do you have to wait until the start time? Is that how that works legally?
Yeah. So for all of the meetings, we have the Board of Works starts at 5:30, City Council starts at 6:30, or upon the adjournment, whichever's later.
Okay.
So if the Board of Works carries over to 6:45, then we will start, we'll kind of make an announcement like the City Council meeting is going to start in 10 minutes. We cannot start before 6:30. So in that case, we did have to wait. There are some places, of course, like Super Tuesday, we have them stacked on the half an hours. That works well. If there's an overrun, it's not a big deal. Maybe the next meeting's shorter. Maybe there isn't the next meeting, whatever. So those are all upon the adjournment of the former meeting or the time. So that is how that works. You just can't start them earlier. And we do it this way. Some places do, Board of Works at 5:30 and then City Council upon the adjournment. So there's no scheduled time, which makes it a little harder because in theory, City Council members and public need to be there for the City Council meeting at 5:31 or not until, 6:29. So
this gives a much more guided time.
Yeah, much more guided time. It fits. And again, I don't know what our shortest Board of Works meeting was before this one, but 20 minutes, maybe 15. So it's not like this is a common occurrence at all.
Does not happen often.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll ever see another one, but we did it this one time. It is in the history books.
There it is. What was discussed at City Council?
There were a few things. We just had some old business to clean up from the end of 25. One of them was the wastewater ordinance for passing cost on to commercial users who impact us. The other one was just a cleanup from the airport salary for the new manager, which we can talk about here in a minute, as we did announce that. I think that probably went out this morning. And then we had a little bit of finance accounting work for Amy Bournes, our clerk treasurer, to do for the 2026, which are encumbrances, which simply state that we are carrying a little bit of the 25 budget into 26 to pay the bills under contracts that were administered in 26 or in 25, but are due like within the first kind of 60 days. That's typically what an encumbrance is. So it's very normal, just a few items. And then the uncleared checks, we have to keep them sort of for 3 years and then, 2 full years. So any check from 2023 that hasn't cleared the bank yet, we can actually go in and cancel because it creates this accounting nightmare because you kind of have these outstanding potential checks that, vast majority of people aren't paying. Maybe they got lost. Maybe somebody forgot them. Some of them are small. There's been a couple that have maybe been a couple $1,000, but usually if it's something big, they're looking for where their money's at.
Taken care of.
It's just more cleanup of the accounting. And Amy and her team have been doing a really good job about that. We hadn't done that in a very long time up until 2 years ago. So we had a big list of them from, 2010 through 2020. But we've gotten that whittled down, and they've done a really good job of keeping that up. We did elect, Jamie Kane was elected City Council President again. He's served in that role every year that I've been here. We work really well together. The council works really well with him, and he takes good pride in being in that role. It doesn't pay anymore, but it does come with some more responsibilities. He's kind of the one that sometimes, I'll chat with him. He continues to serve on the Board of Works in that capacity as well, and so I'm glad to see him continuing in that role.
President. So, and we did, there's been a lot of concern about water. There has been utility concerns. Chris had it in his report as well. Shelby County is kind of dealing with the same thing. You did have quite a crowd at the City Council meeting. Yeah,
we did. We had probably maybe about 40 folks come to the City Council meeting. They had sent, there was a few, maybe 5 or 6 emails that had been sent with some concerns and opinions about data centers. And this, harkens back to 2024. We wrapped this project up in 2024 with a super voluntary annexation. And so Council President Kane, made a statement at the end of the meeting that sort of gave a little bit of a recap of where we've been and what we did back then. So in 24, we did a super voluntary annexation and zoning. So that comes through as a request. There was 100% of the landowners in the annexed area petitioned the city to annex their properties, and then they requested an industrial zoning because the properties are in and adjacent to the business enterprise park, which has been advertised and marketed by the Greensburg Decatur County Economic Development Corporation for 15 or more years. If you've ever driven up I-74, there's a gigantic sign right there along I-74 that says, industrial land for sale. And the EDC's been marketing it as that for a long time. So they had a buyer and came and asked for annexation, and that was granted because it does meet the comprehensive plans for Decatur County and for the city of Greensburg that shows growth in that area, because it's been labeled as an industrial area marketed as an industrial area for 15 years. So that was approved along with the zoning back in 2024, and we've not made any. There's been no other decisions or really any progress from the administrative side of this since then. At that time as well, in 2024, the city council went through the analysis process, as we do with all regarding real property tax abatements, and that agreement was implemented then for a 10-year property tax abatement. We did on the hotel that's being built, on the travel plaza out on Michigan Avenue, on countless other, Hondas, and Delta's not in the city, but Delta recently got a tax abatement as well from Decatur County. They're very common. They happen all over the place, honestly. And that work through that process as well, but back in 24. So there's been really no progress. You mentioned the utilities, so it's worth noting that the information that we've been provided would actually make them the 5th largest user. So we have the ability to treat about 6.7 million gallons of water per day through our water plant, and we currently are at 2.5 million gallons. So we're less than half. We're not even at 50% of our capacity. This project would require about 2.3 to 2.5%, so less than 3% of our treatment capacity. And again, they would be number 5, which would rank them behind Honda, Decatur County Rural Water. So we supply all the rural water customers. So if you have rural water, you're a City of Greensburg water customer just through rural water. KB Foods is number 3. Delta Faucet's number 4. They would be number 5. And then the Greensburg Community Schools would now move to number 6. So, we're right between, a public institution in our community and a industry that's been here since, 100 years. A long time.
Yeah.
And, we continue to serve everybody just as well. And we have a lot of capacity to do it, and it's not that high of a demand. So it is also not the city of Greensburg's purview to do electricity. That's another concern. That region is actually served by Hoosier Energy, which is the supplier above like an REMC, but like most of the city of Greensburg is under Duke Energy. And so those are not even the same suppliers, if you will. We don't have any influence on policy or infrastructure or cost. There's no local control over that. Duke Energy is a regulated utility, so the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission actually does oversee them. And last night at the State of the State address that the governor gave, he gave a full-throated endorsement for data centers in Indiana. And I thought his line about how AI and data is going to generate wealth for Hoosiers and jobs, because there's a lot of support industry for it. So I thought that was an interesting piece. He did talk about the electric utilities and that he wants Indiana to mandate that the utility users, so those big power users, are paying for the infrastructure improvements. There seems to be support at that at the General Assembly, so that may help alleviate some of that concern, but really that's up to the Indiana Regulatory Commission, the power suppliers, and the end users. We're really not involved in that at all. We are not involved in that at all. And there's really no ambiguity in that. So those are some of the big pieces. There's been a lot of discussion about groundwater, and we have 5 or 6 wells in the city. We currently run those at a capacity that is rechargeable, but it doesn't have more capacity, so it's not like we're going to pull more groundwater, and it's less than 500,000 gallons a day in groundwater. There's really no other well work that's done on something like that, and it's a closed system. So this conversation about groundwater pollution and doesn't exist. There's no like break in the system.
It's a closed loop.
It's drinking water, and it is put back through the sewer system and treated just like any other water would be. And stormwater management happens through our Unified Development Ordinance and Stormwater Ordinance. So we'll actually probably slow down runoff because it has a retention capacity. And I mean, some of those things are just completely unfounded. But there's in the end, Councilman Kane made the comment, and it's accurate. There are no pending decisions, no pending updates, no pending anything before the city of Greensburg, our boards, plan commissions, BZA, nothing like that at the moment. I don't anticipate there to be anything, and as he noted, there's no known timeline for a project like that to actually come to fruition.
And for those that were questioned, like, again, it was a full room. It was not on the agenda for the city council meeting. Correct.
He just wanted to be sure that his comments to the council gave them the ability to, know where we were in the process, refresh them where we are in the process. They were involved in the annexation, involved in the zoning, involved in the economic development agreement. They know we have a stormwater. They look at our utility reports all the time. I mean, they're aware, but just as sort of a refresher to them as to where it's at.
All right. Very good. So, any other business at the council meeting?
The one thing that we will probably have some more news on maybe next week is that we have a partnership going on with the Decatur County Solid Waste. We've been talking about this kind of off and on for probably about 6 months. We are making final strides to help solid waste achieve its goal of opening a recycling center in the community, and that will be at the Old Street Department. So it's a win-win-win, and again, more info on this next week. But the general synopsis is that the solid waste district's going to rent the building from the city of Greensburg. They're going to maintain it. It's a 10-year lease. They're going to make some investments in it. They're going to pay rent to us, but then we're going to partner on how the rent piece is handled. But then we, the city, also get the ability to kind of keep the land. It doesn't cost us anything really because they're going to be the ones maintaining it. They're going to put the money in the building. The city kept the other building. There are 2 buildings at the Old Street Department, kept the other one. Police department's using it for some things. We have some items stored in it, etc. But we're going to be able to keep the land because it does, if we sold it or got rid of it, it would be landlocking our police station, which we're a little bit worried about that. It is land that we already own and possess south of the railroad track. So if we want to do something in the future with the rail being a factor, and it's in our downtown. So all of those things kind of play together to really determine. So we're going to be able to keep it and hold on to it and control it at no cost, generally. We are going to receive some rent, which we're going to partner. We're going to parlay that in, again, that's next week, parlay that into the community. And then also, Solid Waste is going to have the ability to open a center, which has been on their goals for a very long time. And so, again, I think just a triple win, and excited about what it looks like going forward.
And good use of the building, too. I mean, it's
great use of the building.
Yeah.
Great use of the building, great use of the funds, great partnership to help with all of that. And it's really a very collaborative project.
Be good for the community.
It will be.
All right. That's the end of council meeting?
That's it.
All right. Let's talk a little bit. We'll tag team between legislation, and you were also at the State of the State last night.
I was. So State of the State was pretty short. I was invited. Appreciate the invitation from the governor and First Lady Maureen Braun. There were 7 mayors there as well from all over the state, 4 Republicans, 3 Democrats, which I thought was interesting. From the top to the bottom, big and small cities, and very good representation. I hope that signifies, a more cooperative and partnership-oriented plan going forward. The speech is about 22 minutes, something like that. It's very short. If you're interested, please feel free to go take a look at it. I would encourage you to do so. There was some discussion about IU football and data centers and utility cost and legislation that is very concerning for all local units of government, really, not just cities, but I mean counties, towns, municipalities, and it is really headed towards a major shift in protection of local control. And that's really unfortunate. It seems I was at the State House on Tuesday. We had our regional meeting and then some time to go chat with, I spoke with Representative Meltzer, who is going to be joining us later this month. I think the 20, let me check on that. But spoke with Representative Meltzer, Zimmerman, and Senator Lysing, along with Senator Maxwell, Representative Patterson, and a couple others that I know from the area and in my time with the state. But just sharing some of our concerns. This 1001. So as we talked about last year, the House starts at 1001. That's the first bill on their list. And so 1001 is always the highest priority House bill, which is really unfortunate for this bill because this is 1001. The simplified version is it removes local units of government's ability to control design standards for residential property. That doesn't sound like a big deal because in our community, it's not like we don't have design standards that are set by the municipality necessarily. There are some very basic lot width, size, setbacks, but what we're really talking about is they have to have all brick, or have to have 3-car garage, or have to have. We don't have that. And so to us, maybe that piece of this bill is not that important. Where it does come into play here is when we talk about like parking requirements and landscaping requirements to help maybe shield between multifamily and single family, or multifamily and industrial, commercial, or however. We do have some of that as developed in our Unified Development Ordinance. But the biggest problem with this is how when you sort of pick at a scab and like the first little bit, and you're like, and then the second part, and then you just keep doing it. This is the first step in the elimination of local government control over zoning and development in your community. It's that blunt. And that's a big problem because we want to be able to, and I remind folks all the time, look, I'm elected, the city council's elected, the commissioners, the county council. There's a ton of people that have to be involved in the community, have to have an understanding. That's why we do comprehensive plans. That's why we do public meetings. That's why we're involved. I stand out in the community more than any other elected official in our community generally. Like, we're here. We get it. And this is all rooted in the discussion of affordability, but like the city of Greensburg does not have, Shelbyville charges $1,000 per household building permit for the parks. They charge a impact fee. Some communities charge a road impact fee. The only thing that we have that comes close to an impact fee is when you tap into the water and sewer. But that's really more based on building capacity because you're pulling a little bit of capacity, right? It's not that high. So my argument to them is that restrictive design standards are not causing housing prices in Greensburg to increase. That's not the case. It's building materials, it's asphalt, it's infrastructure, it's the cost of land. It's those things that are not rooted in design standards. So you eliminating minimal government involvement to protect communities. And again, all communities are different. Some communities have very high design standards because that's what they want, but people are buying houses in those communities by choice. And so that part's really concerning and frustrating, and we're going to be watching that. It's been labeled in in our bodies as maybe the worst bill for local units of government, not municipals, just locals, maybe ever. And that's saying something.
How receptive did you feel like they were to those thoughts?
I always give our General Assembly members credit. They have a tough job to do, and my job's to share the concerns, and then their job's to decipher that, right? I think there was some head nodding. I think where we're going to run into, it got a full-throated endorsement from the governor to get government out of the way, which is ironic because it puts the state government in charge of it. So that seems odd. But, that's a problem. It is 1001. I know that sounds like just because it has a number, it makes it harder, but it really does.
It's very high priority.
It does. Got a full-throated endorsement last night from the governor. I don't know. We'll see. This session is obviously incredibly short. End of February, it's going to be over. Lots of discussion about maybe we shouldn't be doing anything this session, but yet everybody filed 10 bills, and we have like 1,000 bills, and nobody's reading them, and committees have to be done by the end of next week for the first chamber, and then
In this session, I mean, it is flying by.
well, they chopped, yeah, I mean, it's a short session already because it's a non-budget year. And then they chopped off 2 weeks at the end because they did 2 weeks in December for the redistricting conversation. And I don't know, I'm always optimistic. I'll keep doing my due diligence to protect us in the long run, because this is one of those examples where maybe it doesn't impact us a lot right now. It has really big implications as we go forward. It sets a terrible precedent. So we have to be proactive on this. We can't be reactive. Same kind of thing is happening with the local income tax thing that we've been talking about for over a year now, where there are a couple bills, one in the House, and then which is filed by Representative Zimmerman, who does restructure the income tax in a way that at least makes it manageable. The chairman of Ways and Means has a bill that doesn't make it manageable. He was the architect of the one last year that's kind of got us in this position. Senator Rogers, who's from like Mishawaka way up in northern Indiana, she has the similar bill that is manageable on the Senate side. So we're going to be watching that. We're back to, it is going to come with income tax increases, as we've been talking about since day one. AVs, assessed values are still up. Homes are still worth more. I got the report from the Metropolitan Board of Realtors, Indianapolis Realtors, the other day. We're in their territory, so they provide this data. Home prices were up by, I think, another like 10, 12,000 on average last year. So it's still, values are still up. Days on market are still low. Sell rate is high. So, generally the tax rate stayed pretty similar. I mean, they didn't move by much more than maybe like 4/100ths-ish, somewhere, depending on, of course, it all depends on which township and you live in, etc. But it's all about the assessed value. And when assessed value goes down, rates go up. That's how that works. So when you start chopping off assessed value from real property, which was a part of this bill, AV assessed values go down. When you stop taking off, when you freeze AVs, goes down. So there's a balance there. You want AVs to be going up so that rates are going down. And we're not in that environment right now. So those are the things that we're watching and looking at.
I think too, you spend a lot of time in Indianapolis. No, I won't say a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But frequently. But the reason behind it are these things. You're able to communicate with legislators, and you have meetings to be aware. You're protecting our community is what it comes down to as you spend this time.
Well, that's very kind. Yeah, I mean, it's a proactive approach to, and we're fortunate, right? Representative Zimmerman is an attorney who is in private practice in North Vernon, Jennings County, but he's also the county attorney for Jennings County. And so him and I were law school classmates. And so I have a very good relationship with him. He understands the municipal side of it. He spent 10 years working in the Senate. So, I mean, he understands the political side of it too. Representative Meltzer is an attorney in Shelby County and is the city attorney for Shelbyville before she was in private practice, but still does municipal practice. So she understands it, and she's actually our rep. And then, so we have two really influential members of local government, the local government committee. Both of them serve on that. And then State Representative Garrett Bascombe is a good friend of mine for years. He's also an attorney, and he does public defense work down in like Dearborn County. He represents school systems as a private attorney. And so we're sort of like, for the southeastern part of the state, we've got three really great representatives that all serve on local government. And so I've taken a much more active role in trying to be kind of a connection with them about, hey, here's what we're looking at, what we're seeing on the ground. Because I also have my legal background, but I also have, my role as the Indiana Conference of Mayors president and an active member of the AIM Association. So I'm trying to use our region's resources to help facilitate better legislation across the state. So while you don't, I was there Tuesday for probably like 4 or 5 hours. That's a long time in that building. I would hate to work there for even 8 weeks. But it's It is a tough job, but I do think it's incredibly important. And again, it's not just about, like, I could look at 1001 right now and say, okay, the city of Greensburg is not terribly affected by that. We don't really care. My problem is it's going to start the erosion of local government control. And I think, I would hope that most people would agree that we would rather have those decisions being made at the local level and not in Indianapolis statute, because it's way easier to tweak, adjust, modify, tailor something locally than it is to try to get the General Assembly to get 50% plus one of them to change the state statute. And it's just unnecessary. So
We shall see what happens as legislation continues. Again, it's a short session, so moving quickly.
it'll be quick. Representative Meltzer will be joining us on this very program next week.
Oh, perfect.
So she'll be here live in studio in person. That's at least the schedule. So we'll be able to chat with her about all those things and get her take on it.
All right, sounds good. It's 8:03 here on Tree Country 1330. We'll see you next week.